Have you ever used something on your day-to-day basis and thought to yourself, who invented that? Well, it was probably the Romans. I'm sure most of you have used roads, received mail, looked at what day of the month it is, or followed the law. Well, these are all the things that you can thank the Romans for. They're widely known for their vast military and unique innovations, so that's what I'm going to focus on. I've always been fascinated with the Romans and how much they've accomplished, so I researched to find all the things that I didn't know about them and most people didn't know either. So today I'm going to share those things and discuss why the Romans truly were ahead of their time and far more stronger than any competition. Let's start by going over the Romans' powerful military. At the top we have the general who commanded over several legions. Then was the legate who was in charge of one legion. The prefects were over building the structures and training the troops. The centurions led over a century of men. The cavalry was a group of 120 men that fought on horseback, and the legionaries were the regular citizen foot soldiers. The Roman army was arguably the most dominant fighting force of all time. Not only did they have advanced combat strategies, but they were the first to establish ranks. These legionnaires were then split into three lines of defense. The first line, the Hataci, were armed with 2 spears, a sword, a shield, and tall armor to make them appear intimidating. The second row were the principals, and they were essential in battle tactics such as troop rotation. The third line were the Triarii, also known as the third liners, and they were the eldest, typically most experienced fighters. The legion was more than just a bunch of guys fighting it out. It was very well strategic and thought out. Military writer and researcher Franco Cavalzi said that the Romans positioned themselves on the high ground with the sun to their back, shining in the eyes of the enemy, with each soldier 3 feet apart and 6 feet between each rank. This allowed them to cover 1,500 yards with only 10,000 men. The legions were very organized and well thought. Everything had to be perfect. The legion was 5,000 to 6,000 legionaries. Then that was split into cohorts of 480 men. That was split once more into centuries of 80 men. Then that century was split into smaller groups with more specific tasks. Every soldier in the Roman army was kitted from head to toe with a spear, sometimes 2, a sword or a dagger, a shield, and full upper body and groin protection. These soldiers would often use these shields and put them up in different formations based on what they were facing. The next thing the Romans are widely known for is their revolutionary innovation. The discoveries by the Romans were so far beyond their time, and most of them are still effective to this day. Bureaucracy and government ranks such as legislative, who makes the laws, executive, that carries out the laws, and the judicial, who evaluates the laws, are the same ones that we use today and were originally created by the Romans to effectively pass down information. Same with the social hierarchy class, with the wealthy landowners on top, poor small farm owners right under that, the freedmen under that, and the slaves at the very bottom. The Romans are the reasons that we have currency, plumbing, and sanitation today. These sewers were documented in around 500 BC and were typically underground tunnels flushed out with rainwater. The 12-month, 365-day calendar, as well as buildings and towns, are another thing that we have to thank the Romans for. These originally started as military structures for purposes such as protection, which then led into living quarters, then towns, then bigger cities, then revealing their beautiful architecture, which most people know them for today. As you can see, the Romans had a vital impact on the world for many years to come, and their military and technological advancements alone were so special that every nation in the world tried to perfect what they had, and none of them could. Thank you.